Hey YouTube, I wanted to make a video on how full-time rv'ers make money on the road. This is something that I looked into a lot before we became full-time, and it really just kind of made me nervous. Our situation is slightly different because we really kind of just rely on our faith, and not everyone's like that. So I will definitely help you guys out and letting you know how a majority of full-time rv'ers make money. So I have a list and I will go through it, and then I will also edit in some resources you can use, especially if you're not already full-time. This will give you a good source to look into and stuff. But a lot of typical jobs that people do are work camping jobs, and work camping is where you work for your site, and usually your site is paid for along with electricity and water, and sometimes propane, but not very often. Most likely you will have to pay for your propane, and if you're staying somewhere in the winter, it can get really expensive. I learned this last year. Amazon is a big one that full-time rv'ers do, and that is in just sporadic locations across the US. I believe that they have 4 this year, and the date for you to apply is February 16th this year is the first day that you can apply. And the last day you can apply, I'm not sure, but they usually accept applications up until September, October. But if you're gonna wanna do Amazon, check out my review on that my husband worked. And also just remember that it's a lot of hard work and strenuous. But there are a lot of benefits to that one too. So a lot of people do Amazon, and that runs typically about August through December. So you can Google work camping for Amazon, and a site should come up and you can apply for that. But February 16th is the start date for that. The Beet Harvest. Beet Harvest is a lot of work, only because you're doing it every single day. There's no breaks. And it's a very short time frame. It's like 2 weeks straight. So you're working 14 days straight, and I believe, I could be wrong, I believe it is 10 to 14 hour days. So pretty much if you're doing the sugar beet harvest, then you're just gonna be working straight for 14 days. But the typical pay is about $2,000. Occasionally they do run a little bit longer, so it could go into 3 weeks, and occasionally they do have overtime, so you could get more than $2,000 easily. But that's a really good way to make very fast money. And the cutoff date to apply this year for that is May 1st. So apply before May 1st, and also if you're gonna do that, it is not something that you can apply for online. You have to actually get a hold of them through phone call or an email, and they send you a paper application. So keep that in mind, that your application has to be in by May 1st. I'm not sure if that's every year, I just know that that's this year. Gate guarding. A lot of people do gate guarding. That is usually a 4 to 6 month dedication. So if you're gonna do that, really look into that. That is not really something that you're gonna wanna do if you have small kids, or really kids at all. You're pretty much stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and the closest town typically is gonna be about half an hour to an hour from wherever you're at. And it's a 24/7 job. There are no days off. And they really like you to have 2 people. So if you have a partner or a friend, a spouse, that's ideal because you guys can switch off. but the pay for that is pretty stinking good. If we didn't have kids, we might have considered doing that. It's just really good money, and I'm drawing a blank right now, but maybe I'll edit it in about how much the typical pay is, but it's a lot. Also, for that, you need to know that it's a 1099 job, so you're gonna have to file your own taxes and pay out of that whenever you file your taxes. So if you're not educated on how to do your own taxes, or have your own tax person, or just don't want to pay taxes, it might not be the job for you. So those are some really good ones. Another popular one is just work camping in general at campsites. Like my husband is right now, he's work camping, he's doing maintenance. But here, just so you know, we're at Jellystone in Texas, and they are hiring right now. They're actually very short-handed. The pay here is minimum wage, so you have to weigh your options. If you really need money that bad, this might not be the place for you. And there's a lot of work to do, although it's really laid back atmosphere. But work camping jobs, they have all over the US, and there's many different websites that you can go to find jobs like that. And they include things like housekeeping, hosting, maintenance, stuff along that lines, like groundskeeper and stuff like that. Hosting is a typical job that you would get for work camping, and housekeeping and maintenance and such. So sometimes you can even call up campgrounds and be like, are you guys looking for a work camper? I'm available for this date. I'm interested in working at your campsite or your campground. And who knows, maybe they're hiring and they just haven't advertised it yet. Those could either be paid or not paid. But since this is about how RVers make money, I'm going to tell you to look for ones that are paid. Every single one that's listed online, every job, is going to tell you if it's paid or not. Ours right now is 16 hours a week for our site. So we get our water, electric, and our site paid for, plus we get at-cost propane, which is less than half the price of normal propane. So there's those benefits, but it's only minimum wage. And there are a lot of campgrounds that hire, that pay you for a whole 40 hours, and your bonus is that you get your site for free. So you're working and you don't have to work for your site. It's just added in, and those are really nice. So if you can score one of those, I would definitely do that. And I'll post some links to where you can find some of those jobs. Let's see. Oh, and if you're gonna work camp at a campsite, just know that you don't always have to have experience. If you're just starting out, you're being a full-time RV'er, a lot of these people will hire you without even asking you what you've done previously. Yeah, it's true. You could do fair work. There's state fairs and county fairs all over the place, and they always hire pretty quickly whenever they come to town. So when my husband and I were younger, we worked at the state fair and made quick cash. So that was nice. But we were younger and we didn't have kids, and we barely had responsibilities. Let's see. Those are pretty much the work camping jobs. There's stuff like Christmas tree markets. They're always looking for people to help with Christmas trees and loading them and cutting them and selling them. Christmas tree lots are good. Pumpkin fields are good in the October season. Cutting them from the vines, selling them, just working in pumpkin fields. Let's see. In January, there's always jobs in Tennessee to take down Christmas lights. That job pays around 10 bucks an hour, but your site is about half an hour from the destination of where you need to go. So you need to factor in if it's worth the gas money. There's a lot of people who do this just because it is their job. There's people who are full-time rv'ers. Goodness, I cannot talk tonight. That are in the military and they just want a familiar place at all times, and instead of moving from base to base, they'll live in an RV, and it is so much better for their environment as a family. And then you have the plumb line workers, and they just travel in general as well for their job. They just go where the work is. You've got, there's missionaries who go out and live in RVs. We actually live next to some missionaries in Kansas who were going to be missionaries after they worked for Amazon, and they just got paid from churches. So there's that. There's people who already have jobs and they just kind of take it on the road. And photography is a big one. That's a very mobile job, especially if you already have a big buildup online and you have a really good portfolio. So most photographers that I've read about that full-time RV have a blog and they really advertise it, and they're really good. So there's that. There's people who already have jobs that can take it on the road from an office. So if you work for a company where you're like an IT tech type person, or I don't even know if it's an IT tech, just website design and anything to do with the internet and building websites and or even selling online, stuff like that is very mobile, and a lot of people do that. A good way to earn money, which we have looked into but we're still on the fence about, is being an RV tech. You can actually go somewhere and get training for that and then be an RV tech. And a lot of people do that are on the road, because RVs just break down all the time and people need help because they just don't know what to do. And we have called on an RV tech before when we first became full-timers because we had an issue with our fridge. And it was just something as simple as we did not have the right something or other plugged in. So, RV techs make a lot of money in a short time. I think we paid him $140 and he was only there for like 25 minutes. So that's something to consider. Then there's the people who are really just blessed to be on the road because it's their time. They're retired, they have pensions, they have money still coming from the military, or even people who are on disability who have money coming, then you don't have to work because you already have finances coming into you at a steady rate. Every month you can count on that money. So lots and lots of retired folks out here that have a pension or retirement. So that is something that people have money from. Let's see. I have this broken up into like 3 different departments that I kind of broke it up into typical jobs, and then like odd jobs, and then like creative jobs. Mine might be under the creative jobs, what I do. But there's stuff like Etsy shops. I know tons of moms and even a couple of just guys that have Etsy shops. There's a guy who we worked with in Kansas. He sold his photography online because he traveled all over the world, not just the US. He is a world traveler, and he takes pictures, and they're really good ones, and he sells them on Etsy. He goes through a print shop online, and so that print shop sells them directly to the customer. So really, he's not sending the customer anything from him personally. A company is. So, but they're his pictures. Do you get what I'm saying? I have an Etsy shop, although mine isn't really up to date, and I've really sold down on a lot of my stuff because I'm still trying to get a hang of finding time to sew in the RV with my husband going to bed so early, and my kids always go to bed at 6. When he worked at Amazon, I would always be able to sew when he was working the graveyard shift. So I'm still trying to find my bearings on that one. But there's that, and there's Mlm Jobs, lots and lots of those. If you have a passion for any of those, I guess I technically am in an MLM job with my oils, my doTERRA oils, but I don't know, I really just love them. So if you're gonna get into something like that, make sure it's something that you use, you're educated about, and you really just love, and make sure it wouldn't be something that you would be really upset about if you couldn't live off of. So if you're gonna do something like that, it should be a side income, not something for you to live off of, unless you're a really good salesperson. Yeah, you could get creative and sell your paintings. If you're an artist of any kind, and especially if you're on the West Coast, Southern California, there's lots of spots to just show your artsy side and make money like that just on the streets. Then I have it as unconventional but creative ways to make money, and that is, I actually know some people who make money by just having little fun fair things, and they stand outside of stores, I guess in the parking lots of stores, and they have these little helicopter things that they just shoot off, and people just come up to them and be like, hey, how much is that, and where'd you get it? And they have them, so they sell them, and they make a massive profit off that. If you're a musician, and either if you have a passion for music or you just are looking to make some quick money, seriously, you could go sit on a corner and play. If you play really good music, you will draw a crowd and people will give you money. If I like music and I see people playing on the streets, I will definitely give them money. And I always like to support the art scene though too. So maybe that's just me, but I know people who make money, and when I used to go to St. Louis all the time, I had a friend who did that on the strip, and he made a decent income from it. Let's see. If you are into drawing caricatures, that's also another thing that you could do if you're an artist on the street. I don't know if you have to have like a license or something to do that, but I know that people just do that on the street sometimes. If you could start a blog or a vlog. I have just monetized my YouTube a couple weeks ago. This is not something to live off of unless you have very, very, very many followers. And I mean, I'm talking a lot. Just to give you an idea, so far off of one of my videos, I've made 16 cents. So it's just not something to live off of, but if you want it to help you pay like your $30 cell phone bill like I have, then it might be okay. So there's that. You could pawn things. I know people who sell things on eBay and pawn shops and make money. There's gold diggers. Yes, gold diggers still exist. I'm not talking about the people who actually go and try to hit up old people for money by marrying them. because they're not in love with them. They just want their money and they're waiting for them to die. I'm talking about people who actually go and dig for gold or diamonds. You pay a certain amount, and you whatever you find, you keep. So, and yeah, people find things there. It's just time consuming and a hit or miss kind of thing. So there's newspaper routes. You could consider doing a newspaper route in your area, and it's an early morning thing, so you would still have your whole day to yourself. So that would be something to consider. Side jobs like babysitting other kids in the RV park that you get to know. When we were in Kansas, we did let some teenagers babysit our kids for like 2 hours. And they were fine. We got to know their family, and actually we still keep in contact with their family. And they were really nice people, and they did a really good job. My kids were asleep because they go to bed at 6 o'clock. So all she had to do really was just watch them while they were asleep and make sure that the place didn't burn down. So people are always looking for dog walkers as well. And almost every RV park, there's probably, if they work, they're going to be looking for a dog walker. There's Lyft.com, Lyft.com, and it's kind of like a personal taxi service. I have definitely heard good things about it, and I have heard full-time RV'ers doing it. So something to look into. It is quick money. So, and you don't even have to be a full-time RV'er to do some of these things to make money. I'm just letting you know some of the ways that I've heard and I've done to make money on the road. I think that is about all I have for this time, but like I said, I'll probably be making a part 2 like 6 months down the road, when, especially this summer, when we do whatever we do and we have to make money. So I'm sure there will be lots of creative ways to make money this summer. So that's what I've got, and I hope that it helped you in some way learn how full-time RV'ers make it financially on the road, and I hope that you can utilize some of that information. So that's all I got, YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good night. Bye.